Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos from kind of cloudy West Virginia today, although the sun did poke out and it was kind of warm, so maybe spring is finally here. It didn't rain today, so that was a... Is it raining now? It's raining now. I thought we would get one day this week where we didn't have much rain, but we need the rain to make the flowers grow. And so since there wasn't a lot of snow here to melt to water the ground, we need rain. And so we'll take some rain as it comes here. We'll take the rain. Not too heavy though, not too heavy. All right, we're going to ask Judy to come forward and light the Shabbos candles to get us started. And if you've got your Sidurim at home or the PDF, we're on page 2.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offering of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kadeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shabbat.
All right, we thank you, Judy, and we're going to continue on page 6. And let's do this reading responsibly on page 6. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
All right. So we'll continue with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi comes to us from the mystics in Sfat, in the Upper Galil in Eretz Israel in Israel. The mystics would go out right as the sun was setting. They would all be dressed in white, and they would welcome the Shabbos bride or the Shabbos queen to spend Shabbat with them. And so tonight we'll do the first and second verse and the last verse. So verses 1, 2, and 9 on page 20. Now to figure out the tune. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem ol tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela, boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam besimcha uv'tohala, tochem unei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Page 22, it's the Psalm for Shabbat. And we'll read the top part in English and then come in Tzaddik Katamar in the Hebrew with a psalm. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me with your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai! How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzaddik Katamar Yifrach, Kerez Balvanon Yizkeh Shetulin Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Odyenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Yiyu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatabo. And page 24, Shalom Aleichem. We welcome the angels and all people who are gathered with us for Shabbat. We welcome them to be part of our Shabbat services and our Shabbat experience. Page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That concludes Kabbalat Shabbat, our warm-up into Shabbat. It's not fair to Shabbat to go just right from the workday with all of the headaches and all of the toils and travails that we have to right into Shabbat. So we kind of ease our way into Shabbat with some songs. And so we're on page 145, Arvit for Shabbat, the evening service for Shabbat, and Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba b'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'hagala u'v'zman kariv v'imheru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Me'olam Lo Me'olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'yimheru. Amen. Page 146, Baruch Hu, the formal call to evening worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And on page 147, let's read together in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Page 148, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam,
Beit Yisrael,
Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, u'kim mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofeinu u'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hein chayeinu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ata al tasir Mimeinu le'olamim, Baruch Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 149, Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol miotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levanecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'vlektecha b'haderech, u'v'shokbecha b'kumecha, u'kshartam liot al yadecha, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. And on page 151 in the middle, let's read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of page 152, Mi Chamocha.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nidar b'kodesh, no Lord. O Sefer, O Sefer, mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nidar b'kodesh, no Lord. O Sefer, O Sefer. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, Tzeli anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch li'olam va'ed, v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mi'at chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Top of page 153, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu
Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shoreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shoreinu l'chaim. And together near the bottom of the page, give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. And now at the top of page 154, Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובני בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. olam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We're at the Amidah, the main prayer of the evening service. You can follow us along beginning on 155, 156, 157. Or if you have the Siddur, you can offer up your own prayer at this time. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasei Elohim Ha'ot, U'mevii Geulah Levneihem, למען שמו ואהבה, מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומחיי אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך על גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות ביתי. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai hamikadesh ha-Shabbat. Top of page 161, Ritzeh.
Ritzeh, Ritzeh, Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam, Be'ahatecha U'tehila ratzon ta'ami, U'tehila ratzon ta'ami, Avodat Yisrael Amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Shoteka levadeka, Vayiranu Shoteka levadeka,
Be gracious, Adonai, our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. We're on page 163, and we'll read responsively in English at the top. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
We are on page 164, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Etov Einecha Livarech Et Amcha Yisrael B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Middle of page 164, let's read responsively. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes.
Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart.
Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And in the middle of 167, Yehiyu l'ratzon. We're going to jump ahead now to page 253, the Mishaberach, the prayer for healing. If you have someone who needs special healing this week, please keep them in your thoughts as we sing in the middle of the page. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mechor HaBracha Lehimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We're on page 258, the prayers for our congregation, our country, and the state of Israel. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'ocha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. And on 259 in the middle, we continue with the Hebrew. Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit Smichat Gulatenu. Hagain Aleha v'Yavrach Chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha v'Amitecha, Rasheha, Soreha v'Yoetzeha, B'taknein be'etzah tova milfanecha. V'natatan shalom ba'aretz. B'simchat olam liyoshveha. V'nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And we all say, Amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
This week, we have a double portion. We're blessed to have two portions this week, and they bring about the end of the book of Leviticus, Parshat Bahar Bechukotai. Bahar is one parsha, Bechukotai is another. And the book of Exodus ends with a bunch of laws. It shouldn't come as a surprise because the book of Leviticus, the book of Leviticus is all about laws. There's no narrative found in the book of Leviticus. It's a handbook for the priests. But we do get some pretty interesting commandments, a bunch of interesting mitzvot. And in Parshat Bahar, we get the command to observe the sabbatical year. Every 7 years in Israel, we're to let the ground lie fallow. We're not allowed to sow. We're not allowed to harvest anything that we plant. We're allowed the land to take a break, a Sabbath to the land, as it were. However, on the uncultivated land, if, for example, you were planting, kishuim, cucumbers, and in that field, that was all you were planting were kishuim or were cucumbers, but a lemon tree decided to sprout up overnight and produce lemons. From that tree, you're allowed to take the lemons because you did not plant that tree. So produce that comes out of the land that you did not plant, that comes out by itself, you're allowed to harvest, but you're not allowed to sow or harvest anything for your own use. Then we get the command for the Yovel year, the Jubilee year. After 7 cycles of 7 years, for 49 years, the 50th year is marked on Yom Kippur by a shofar blast, and all of the Israelites are to take possession of the official lands, or the original lands, given to them and their ancestors at the time of Joshua, at the time when Joshua and the people conquered Canaan. So every 50 years, the land reverts. So what this teaches us is that when you sell the land, you're only selling it for a period of time. You're not selling it in perpetuity because it's not yours to sell. It goes back to the original owners. And so what would happen is if, say, 25 years into a cycle, you wanted to sell a piece of your property, you wouldn't charge the full price for the land. You would take into consideration that 25 years had already elapsed and that the person would only be able to have that land for another 24 years. So you would adjust the price accordingly. And then the Parsha ends with more care for the poor. This is a theme throughout the Torah, that we have to take care of the poor, that we're not allowed to forget the poor. That people become poor through accidents, through all sorts of bad things that could happen. And so we're not to shuffle them under the carpet, as it were, but we're to take care of them. And so we're commanded that when an Israelite is in financial trouble, we cannot charge him interest on food that we give him if we expect him to pay it back, nor can we charge interest on loans. And the Israelite who was poor, this is to keep them from becoming slaves. And so we're not to treat them like slaves. And so Parshat Bahar ends on that note of taking care of the poor. Bechukotai is about blessings and curses. And the beginning part of Bechukotai lists blessings for following the commandments, that rain will fall in its proper time, that the harvest will be enough to satisfy us, and that we will live in peace. However, if we don't follow God's commandments, we'll have negative consequences called curses. for turning away. And the rain won't come, the harvest won't come, we won't live in peace, we'll be under siege if we don't follow the laws of the Torah. But Bechukotai teaches us that we can return to the right path, and God will remember the covenant that God had established with us. And then the book of Bechukotai, and then the Parsha, ends with laws concerning vows, promises, gifts, and payments to the sanctuary, and ultimately payments to the temple when the temple was built. And what it teaches us is that money can be substituted for real property, for actual gifts. So if I am going to say, I am going to dedicate to the temple, or here in this case, the sanctuary, a cow, and I decide that, and I make that promise, and people hear me say it, and I say, I am going to dedicate this cow to the sanctuary. But then I decide, well, maybe I want to keep the cow. What do? Well, I take the monetary worth of that cow and give it to the sanctuary or donate it to the temple. That way, I don't have to give the actual cow, and I can fulfill my vow or my gift to the sanctuary. And so that's basically this week's Parshiot, two of them in a nutshell. What I want to talk about this week is one of the days. I know we've talked a bunch about days that happened between Passover and Shavuot. We talked about Yom HaShoah. We talked about Israel's Independence Day, Yom HaZikaron. We talked about Yom HaAtzmaut, in Israel's Independence Day. But there's a day that comes up this week that a lot of Jews don't know about. And if you study Torah and you remember things about what you study, it might sound familiar that on the 27th day of the second month, something very important happened in the history of humanity. And that 27th day of the second month, which this year falls, I think, Wednesday evening, Wednesday into Thursday, is the day that Noah and his family and all the animals left the ark, and God gave us the covenant of the rainbow. So on the 27th day of the second month, we have what's called Rainbow Day. And it falls always on the 42nd day of the Omer, a week before Shavuot, or the day after Yom Yerushalayim, the day after Jerusalem Day. And Parshat Bahar, with its discussion of the Shemitah, the sabbatical year, usually falls within a week of Rainbow Day. And this week, it's our Torah portion, and Rainbow Day falls on Wednesday night. And Rainbow Day, there's nothing really liturgical. There's no service for it, although some of the more modern progressive movements of Judaism have come up with a siddur, have come up with an order of prayer for it. But it's a time to celebrate the diversity of life on earth. Right? It's a time for us to remember our role in the first covenant that God made with humanity. Right? God will later make a brit. God will later make a covenant with Abraham, and that'll be a covenant with the Jews. That's the brit of circumcision. However, the first covenant that God makes is with all of humanity and all of the animals. And we remember this from the psalm where the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. We are but tenants on this earth. We're the caretakers, right? We don't own the earth. We can't do with it as we want. We think we can, but that leads to problems. But God, after God destroyed the world with a flood, made a promise and said that God will not destroy the earth with water out of anger ever again. Now, for those of you who are lawyers or have a legal mind, you know that a contract has to have two parts. So God promises not to destroy the earth, and we promise to take care of it. We promise not to abuse it. And we find that we are intertwined with all life on earth. All the plants and all the animals, and the human animal included, are all intertwined in such a way that we can't separate ourselves. Right? And we're reading in the news now that this murder hornet, is that what it's called? The murder hornet is coming and it targets bees. And we're realizing that without the bees, plants don't get pollinated. If plants don't get pollinated, plants won't grow. If plants won't grow, we won't have anything to eat. If we don't have anything to eat, we're in trouble. So the little honeybee or the little bee is very important to our existence. But we wouldn't think about it because we're not attuned to nature. We have forgotten our connection to nature. And Rainbow Day is one of these days. 3 times in our Torah, this relationship between people and plants and animals is mentioned. The first time is in the Garden of Eden, where God gives us all the plants to eat and tells us to take care of the garden. The second time is in the story of Noah and the flood. And the third time is in this week's Torah reading, when we get the commandment for the Shemitah year, the year of sabbatical for the land. And so I think what Rainbow Day should be for us is a time where we think about repairing our relationship with the land. That we can both use the land for our own benefit, but you also have to conserve our resources and preserve the land for generations that will come after us. Not only justice for people, but also justice for the land. That we just can't do what we want to do with the land. In Genesis, Adam is told regarding the land that he is to la'avda ul-shomra, to work it, to derive benefit from it, but also to protect it, not to abuse it. And Rainbow Day, this Wednesday night into Thursday, should call us all to a renewed effort to take care of the earth and all of its inhabitants. All of the inhabitants, human, 4-legged animals, bees, and plants. This is our only home, folks. This is the only planet we have. And so the Torah is reminding us to take care of it. So this Shabbat, if the weather is nice, I want you to go out and see the beauty of the world. Take a walk in a park, be socially aware and distant, be safe out there, wear your masks, don't congregate in groups, but take a walk out there and see the beauty of the world. Or go into your backyard and look at some flowers or look at the birds or see if you can see little insects crawling around. They all have a job to do, and so do we. And the next time you see a rainbow, do we see rainbows here a lot? We see rainbows here. Next time I used to see rainbows all the time. Everywhere I've lived, rainbows have followed me. They have. I don't argue that. Even in Brooklyn, I would be walking down the streets in Brooklyn and I would see rainbows, right? After a rainstorm, of course. But next time you see a rainbow, remember the covenant that God made with us and all of life in this world. And do your part to take care of this world and to fulfill your part of the covenant. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos. All right, we are nearing the end of our service. We are at Aleinu. And that will be found on page 282. I'll ask everyone, who's here, to rise as the ark is open. Page 282, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shameach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים. לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נותן שמיים ויוצר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים Hu Eloheinu Eino, Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato, Kakatu Betorato, Viadata Hayom Yeshua Elevecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Mimal, Ve'al haaretz, Mi'itachayeinu. The top of page 285, let's read together. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. May all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz. V'yom hahu Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. This week we observed the following yard sites: the Shloshim of John Albert Ambergay, Isidore Cohen, Nancy Cohen Tarbus's father, David and Billy Glick's uncle, Ruth Davis, Judge Michael E. Gersten, relative of Ron Poland, Selma Maisel Jacobson, Steve's mother, Paul's grandmother, Dora Hermanson Mann, May Lazarus's relative, Jim Ambergay, Judy Lundy's brother, Robert Bloom, relative of Richard McLaughlin, Thelma Cohen, wife of Bernie, Muriel Chase, daughter of Isidore and Julia, and Max Nechin's sister, Nathan Malmut, Esther Nechin's father, married to Ruth, father of Ben, Esther, Ann, Saul, and Seymour. Neil Reuben Monroe, Miranda's father, Max David Angel, Augusta's husband, Bill's father, Norma Levine Lemons, Regina Levine's mother, married to Mo, Ralph Leon Massiner, Gazella's husband, father of Lois, Jean, and Edgar, Rose Elderman, Ann Cohen's mother, Jack was her husband, Samuel Abraham Kaplan, Pauline's paternal grandfather, Morton S. Cohn, Ed Ireland's brother-in-law, Samuel Footlick, married to Anna, Betty Kolker's maternal grandfather. Nikki Annette Goldstein Katz, sister of Bernice Stern. Lily Kowalkowski, Rena Stern's aunt, Mary Cantor's sister. Jack Pressman, Tom's father. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. This time we recite the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach Yerutei, v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah m'vorach li'olam l'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yitalev, v'yithalal, shmei d'kudusha brichu, v'elam mincho birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. All right, friends. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos to everyone out there and to everyone here. I want to thank Judy for being the choir tonight. And my tech guru, or our tech guru, I'm not going to take him for myself, but Scott, who makes sure that we get live every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yiddish choir on Wednesday. Yes. Look to your email for the Zoom invite. It's the only Yiddish choir in West Virginia. I would assume that it's the only Yiddish choir south of Brooklyn.
Probably so.
Pardon?
Probably so.
But it's here, and that's what makes it so wonderful. It's right here, and you can join the Yiddish choir on Wednesday nights at 7:00. Shavuot is coming up, and we're going to have some learning planned, and we'll keep you up to date on what's going on with Shavuot as the plans come to fruition. But don't worry, Shavuot's about 2 weeks away, and we'll let you know in plenty of time so you can get ready to celebrate Shavuot with us. Service is here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. right here, or wherever you are. You can join us at 10 a.m. and then Sunday morning, 9 a.m. for the Sunday morning minyan. And I think that's all of the announcements. So unless anybody can think of anything, no? All right, so that's it. Yiddish choir Wednesday, but before Yiddish choir, services tomorrow at 10 and Sunday at 9. And so let's close out with Adon Olam. One of these days we're going to do Yigdal. I'm gonna throw it. No?
I don't watch.
We have dissension already. All right. So one day I'll do Yigdal, but tonight we'll do Adon Olam. Page 321 if you're following along, or if you know it, Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yisir Nivra Li'eit Nasa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kiklotako Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hoveh Vehu Yihye B'tifara Vehu Echad V'ein Sheni Laham Shelo Lehachbira B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzur Chevli V'yetzara V'hu Nisi Humanosli Minat kosi biomekra biado avkid ruchi V'edishan v'ayira v'imruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos. Stay safe out there. Wear your masks and gloves and socially distance yourself when you're out in public. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Shabbat shalom.
How many were on tonight?
Let's see.